So welcome back to my channel Orchid House. I'm Olivier in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm competing with a mockingbird this morning, but it's been going on for 10 minutes and I have no idea when he's going to stop. So today I wanted to talk about how I managed to avoid disasters with sphagnum moss. I'm not a huge fan of sphagnum moss, but I mean it's really practical. You don't have to water very often with it. You just have to be careful. Now, I use it for the large flowered Phalaenopsis, not the little ones. I had a video with mounting a little Phalaenopsis. Those rot very quickly if it's too moist, so I really want to mount them. I also mount my species. So you have examples here. But these big hybrids, I mean, they are stronger, and all you have to do is really avoid overwatering, which is always a big challenge for me. So in the early days when I grew them and I repotted them, well, I always noticed a disaster. All the roots were rotted, mushy, soft, not very good. So the way I deal with this is threefold. So first of all, I use plastic that's transparent, and so you can really monitor the roots. It's always about monitoring the roots in the end. That's how you, and so you see all these green tips. There's green tips everywhere. This is a very healthy root ball. It's huge as well. This is a big plant. This is a very healthy root ball. So first of all, because of this, I'm able to see when it's wet and when it's dry. And so unlike before when it was in the clay pot and I was just watering at will and with bad results. Secondly, I really grow them on the dry side. It's a little bit against the common wisdom for Phalaenopsis. They tell you it's monopodial, it grows up, it doesn't have any water reserve. So you really should water them more often than the Cattleya, for instance, that has a big bulb with water reserves in it. But I've noticed that they do fine. I mean, if you grow them on the dry side, it's going to be okay. Then the third way that I cope with the issue, but it's really more from my perspective, because I live in South Florida where we have torrential rains in the summer. So, I mean, I don't want them to be exposed to the elements. So this is underneath an overhang, that's where they grow. Because if I leave them outside, I grow them outdoors year round, basically. That's the bottom line. So if I leave them outside under the rain in the summer, they're gonna rot. I mean, sometimes we have torrential rains for 2, 3, 4 days in a row, and that's really bad. So it takes a while to dry out. So basically, so the transparent plastic pots, grow them on the dry side, and then for me here, since I grow outdoors in the tropical climate or subtropical climate, I put them underneath an overhang. Now, you don't want to go too far with growing them dry, because sphagnum moss is something that once it's too dry has a hard time rehydrating. So you have to find the right balance. But obviously, this works now. And not only do you have beautiful blooms, but I mean these root balls are very healthy. This girl, for instance, this is an example of one that's completely dry. But you see how many roots I have. I'm not doing like the Taiwan growers. I don't try to stake them pretty. They are on the wall here, and so I like them hanging. I think it's pretty. They are not on a shelf. So this is a wet one. So you see the roots are green. There are lots of green root tips as well. So this is a very healthy root ball. But I know now is not the time to water it. Not only is the top wet, but deep inside the pot is soaking wet. So that's going to be a while before I water it. So then I just want to talk briefly about two other subjects. So you have large Phalaenopsis flowers and then small Phalaenopsis flowers. This is an equestris. So it's not really among the Polychilus, which is where most of the species are, but I mean it's one of these, the smaller type. I guess people think that most of the Phalaenopsis species are large flowers. In reality, all the hybrids have large flowers, or most of the hybrids have large flowers, but the vast majority of species are little flowers. So let me see here, where are you? So this is how I grow them mounted. I mean, I still keep them attached with a bit of Velcro because these are still growing, but it's very healthy, as you can tell. It's also starting to grow a flower spike here. So all these, I don't want to pot them in sphagnum moss. Now there's a big difference. The large flowers, they usually bloom in the spring, and what triggers their bloom is a differential of temperatures during the winter months. So the nighttime temperatures drop, and that's really what triggers the bloom. For the little ones, they really bloom in the summer, and for them the trigger is more extensive daylight, so more exposure to light, because those are the longest days of the year, and also the heat is what triggers their bloom. And then just last, I want to brag a little bit about this baby here. So I got an award from the American Orchid Society. This is a hybrid that, according to Blue Nanta, was done by Big Leaf Orchids. That's Tin Lee. So I think it was made in 2017. I bought it from a Taiwanese grower, Wilson Orchid. But this is a fantastic plant, a fantastic bloomer. It's been blooming practically the whole year. This is interesting. I mean, they rebloom, so I can't find the right term now. They are sequential bloomers. Sorry, they are sequential bloomers. So they continue grow new flowers as time goes by. Now, the oldest, this is only 3 years old, if you can believe it. I mean, there's already a huge kiki growing as well. So you have a second plant here, and look at all the spikes, very healthy roots. The color is also interesting. So this is a mature flower. I think that's the youngest one, so it's darker. I hope the light is proper. And then this is an older flower. It goes lighter, and I think it's really gorgeous. And I believe that's really what got the award. Now, I mean, this keeps on being happy. So I hope to have a real monster within another 2 or 3 years. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.